Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Lang Mini Studio, as we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop gaming. Today, we're going to talk about player agency and dice rolls, because sometimes you make a smart call, play it clean, roll the dice, and still watch the whole thing come apart. In this series of episodes, we're going to be talking about just the power of the dice and whether it affects player agency and whether you should let it, in my opinion, because I believe it could go either way. And it all really depends on comfort and experience when it kind of comes down to a hot take. Now, like, player agency is up to, like, the player and the dungeon master. I don't know if, like, does player agency happen the most when the dice go your way or when they fail you? And I kind of debated back and forth about this when I was thinking about this subject of, like, does the most agency come when things don't go your way or when they do?
I think more story happens when the dice don't go your way. But in my personal opinion, where player agency really shines is when you're not rolling dice. Because dice do kind of supersede agency.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you could have like the best plan, you could have everything in place. You could have the best character builds, all the magic items, everything you want. You roll a 1, you still roll a 1. You know, and even if you get advantage or something, okay, so you didn't roll a 1, you rolled a 2. So, player agency, in my opinion, is when the dice aren't rolled. But you're not really risking anything if you're not rolling dice.
Yeah.
So that's when... And that's why I like that idea, is because the dice do add that bit of chaos.
Yeah.
That you could, just like in the real world, you could have the best laid plans of mice and men.
I feel like the sessions that we talk about for sure are the ones that are obviously unexpected and when things don't go our way, but and the same way they end up going our way. I'm like, okay, that kind of was what I wanted, but not the way I wanted it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. We mentioned a couple of times Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Han Solo trying to sneak up on that scout trooper. He failed his stealth check. He stepped on the twig, it snapped, and the surprise is gone.
You mentioned in our previous campaign with Avernus campaign with Merrick of like everything, like your dream list of everything you wanted to do by the end of the campaign, and then you read he rises to fiery divinity, and then you read the log of everything he kind of did after the campaign. It's like, that's everything I kind of wanted to do came true, but just not how I expected it.
That's not how I expected it. Yeah, exactly. Talking about, player agency and dice rolls, Merrick is a really good example of that, because when I was playing Merrick, I'm not Will Wheaton level bad, but my dice are kind of bad.
Yeah. It is a running joke among our tables.
It is a running joke, yeah. To where I was doing all right, but then Merrick got mine taken, and I gave him over to you, and you were rolling hot. Merrick was terrifying. He was smiting things. He was terrifying to be against. And I'm like, oh, this is how he's supposed to be when someone rolls good.
I know, you're on the sidelines like, roll against the saves. Don't go against his armor.
Don't go against his armor class. You got to attack the saves. He has a bad dexterity. He's a fighter paladin. He has a bad dexterity. Fireballs, stuff like that. Okay, you're trying to hit him with a sword. Cool.
You guys are trying to just... Was it that scene from Shaun of the Dead where they're all beating around the zombie? And
yeah. Oh my God. I need to watch that again. Oh, that was so good.
I do feel like it's a bad habit. And there's like, I mentioned, there's like, actually there's 1 or 2 people at our group that's kind of have the bad habit. And I can be that way even myself sometimes, even after 17 years of playing, of like, even among the veteran players who've been playing forever, have like this inability to do so when things go bad, or they think if they see a failure, there's nowhere to go with it. And I think it more for me, like from my personal experience, when it's I just don't see the path, or I've can't figure out how do I do this, even with the yes and no but thing.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to take 5 minutes out for myself. I'm like,
How do I bounce back?
What do I do?
Yeah. And that is a skill that you can learn as a DM. I'm trying to cultivate that in this campaign that I'm running, to where a lot of what we just went through that we have set up right here
Yeah.
went a lot quicker than I expected. I expected characters to be a little bit more bloodthirsty. I expected them to be a little bit more antagonistic.
I did mention to Chase that because for anyone that's watching, we went to this mine shaft filled with all these rat people, and we'll eventually get to this story point in our podcast, and we'll go over this thing. We got to the bottom of it, and I was talking to Chase at work about this, and I'm like, I think he expected us to go in there guns blazing.
I did.
And when we basically let's go talk it out, and I started really realizing it's like my Witcher would not go in there just guns blazing, because there might actually be innocents in here. If there
and there are.
Yeah. And because it's that Witcher thing, it's like not all monsters are monsters, and some people are actually monsters.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Geralt and just the Witchers in general are just such a fascinating group of people.
Yeah.
Because I love those lines that Geralt says when he's asked about his two swords. And it was like, one's for... I forget how he words it, but it was like, oh, yeah, you got one of your monster-killing swords. Why do you need your steel one? He was like, oh, one's for people, one's for creatures, both are for monsters. And it's just like, yeah, people, like, sometimes, especially in the Witcher game, some of the worst things in the game are done by people, not by the creatures or the monsters.
That's actually a recurring theme. I think out of like the 13 books, I got to book 5 or 6, and that was just the recurring theme of like the monsters are there and he fights them and they're bad and all this, but the real villains are like the other people, or the sorcerers that are doing heinous experiments and mutations, and it's
because you'll have like you run into griffins and the undead that are kind of single-minded. The griffins are just doing what griffins do, and then the undead are obviously ghosts and zombies and stuff like that. And you've got what are they called, the things that come out of the water, the neckers. Yeah, those are obviously a little more bestial, in their mindsets. But then you come across some of the more smart ones. Like there was a succubus that was in town, and Geralt went up and she was talking to him, and he was like, I know what you are. And she's, oh, crap. But he was like, look, you're not, as far as I know, no one's got a contract out on you. As far as I know, nothing's going on.
And you're not
leave town. Yeah.
You're not hurting anyone.
Yeah, leave town. And you won't see me. As long as nothing happens, just leave town. I don't care. And he just walks away. And I believe later on you run into her out in the wilds, to where she's living in a little cottage or a cave or something. And there's this one dude that's like following around that's like smitten with her. And she's just like, go find me an indigo flower. And he goes, what color is indigo? And she's, indigo is indigo. Go away.
Go find out what it is.
Go find out. Just leave me alone. And he runs off to go find an indigo flower. And Geralt's just like, hey, fancy running into you again. And she's kind of scared, but he was like, whoa, you did what I told you to do. You're not hurting anyone. That guy's just weird. That guy is just whatever. And she's like, yeah, he just won't leave me alone. He goes, well, you are what you are, but
Yeah, but we get to the top of this to talk to the boss, and you could tell Josh was kind of edging. It's like, let's kill.
He was, I see, that's the thing. I was expecting him to be the one of, you know what, we're done, and then just attack the guards.
Well, he tried with the sleep.
He did. He tried.
But I don't think he was going to be the only one.
I think, in my personal opinion, I may have gone easy on Josh in that situation, because he did cast a spell, and he rolled when he rolled the dice for the sleep spell, he started adding it up. I was hearing the numbers. I'm like, he isn't going to have enough. He did not roll high enough to get this. So this guy's going to go to sleep. I mean, he's not going to go to sleep. But how do I play it? I may have gone easy on him about the guy not questioning a spell, but I think I had him roll for a stealth check or something.
Yeah.
And to where the guy didn't hear it. So he just got lightheaded for a sec. Ooh, that was weird.
Yeah, because
I think let's go.
I think it's friends that actually says in the text, like, if you fail this, they know it came from you.
Even if you succeed.
Yeah.
Even if you succeed, the spell works as written, but once the spell ends, they know they've been charmed. And that's one of the things I don't... Side tangent, again. That's one of the things I don't like about the enchantment spells in D&D, is that even the high-level ones, when it ends, they know they've been enchanted. They know they've had their mind.
I think that's for the optimizers and
for the real evil players.
Yeah, the min-maxers.
Yeah, I mean, you're not all Jedi. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Okay. Hey, that guy just mind tricked you. Oh, did he? Oh.
But, you obviously didn't expect it. You rolled with it very well. And we got up there and we got to the top and then we ended the session before a fight.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting because I'm trying to figure out how to play this.
Fun side tangent real quick before we carry on with the main subject is Tales of the Valiant. For anyone that's playing, if you're playing a warlock, it is an ability. It is not it's a spell ability.
Eldritch Blast, yeah.
Technically, it cannot be countered.
Yeah.
And then
it's not a spell.
So after that session, Josh actually messaged me on Discord and was like, hey, just heads up, I wouldn't upcast your Thunder Wave because I announced what I planned to do. I was like, I want to Thunder Wave these people. He was like, I think he's going to counter it. And then I looked it up and I told him, I'm like, okay, metagame wise, if he has counterspell, that's a third level spell. We have a lot more things to worry about if he can counterspell, because that means he has Lightning Bolt.
Yep.
He has Fireball, and that means he can one-shot us all with a Fireball.
I wouldn't be that mean. Would I?
No, but your dice could be, ironically.
In my mind, because you guys did a good thing of telling me ahead of time what you were going to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a contingency in mind.
Yeah.
But it's not... It's going to be in reaction to what you do.
Yeah.
It's not going to be stopping what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's a Thunder Wave prepped. There's, there's some reactions prepped and stuff like
and
that.
there's a Bane prepped.
Yeah, so I'm not going to do anything to stop that.
Yeah.
Because that's just good tactics that, you're prepared. I do not want to punish that.
Yeah.
But I do have stuff planned in reaction to it.
Yeah.
So
hey, if it gets countered, it gets countered. You still got to roll, and there's a chance that.
Yeah, and I burned a third level spell slot.
Yeah.
So.
But if they have third level spell slots, I'm gonna be a lot more scared because there's a lot other powerful things that.
Actually, I was thinking about it. Since I now have the Player's Handbook 2 for Tales of the Valiant, I'm actually thinking on making the main guy in charge. I'm thinking of making him one of the new classes.
Yeah.
In Tales of the Valiant. Just so I can sink my teeth into it and mess with it.
And then I think I sent you it over an email that like they have you can take NPC stat blocks and kind of subclass them out. That's how I kind of did like Kyle and all that. I made an Eldritch Knight and upped it.
Oh yeah, I think you did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can work off that.
Yeah.
Counterpoint to our original point though is through the GM perspective. Do you think that failing forward about better role play, or is it softening the consequences so players don't engage? You were talking about kind of being soft on Josh, which he failed forward with it, but it didn't really have any consequence.
And it really didn't have any consequences, but failing forward, in my opinion, does not hinder anybody at all. We're here to have fun. We're here to tell a story. We're here to play this game.
Yeah.
And if you fail, which is totally an option, you can totally not succeed. It's more often than not you fail. That just gives you an extra thing to react to, and it makes you think. And that's when the real exciting things happen, where you have all the everything planned out and everything goes according to plan. Oh,
Yeah, because it would have been really, really interesting if he would have failed. He realized sleep had been cast, and then we just rolled initiative on that stairway.
All of a sudden, he's yelling and he runs off, and now everyone's, you guys went up through floors of this mine, and there were guards and there were soldiers on every level. Because I was planning on it being a running battle to where you did every floor to get to the top. Now you're at the top and haven't been in combat or anything. So you haven't used all of those abilities. You haven't used any resources, essentially. Yep. Yes, a sleep spell got burned, but whatever.
And then, like, I was telling Chase, because we were talking about it as well, and you guys did the same thing to me last campaign with the church. You ended up going underground instead of going through the door, and then I had to reverse kind of what happened there.
Yep. So yeah, and one thing that I kind of wanted to keep in my back pocket, but I'm okay with telling you guys, is you are vertically surrounded. There are probably a dozen or more soldiers essentially behind you, that when this fight kicks off, they're in this vertical shaft. They're gonna start running up to take care to help. And
hopefully, we can bottleneck them a little bit, but
yeah, exactly. There are tactics involved. There's things, and there are things that I have written down that they could probably throw a couple of, like, a monkey wrench into your plan. We'll see. I'm excited to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the dice. I could either go really deadly, or we get taken as prisoners, or we just cream them, or they,
Yeah, there's a lot of ways this can go down, and I'm making plans for whichever one happens. But that's the cool thing, is no matter what I do, it's in reaction to what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
It's your plan, because I try to do my best to make a living world.
Yeah.
To where there's three things that could happen. Is what I try to do. Maybe there's, obviously, it could be an infinite number of things that could happen, but I plan for three. And if this happens, the other two, I still kind of go down that road. Okay, well, this happened, but what if this happened? And what now will happen since this didn't happen?
Yeah.
You know what's going on here, but there's still the other part of the world going on that's carrying on because these certain things didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, sometimes it feels like Doctor Strange when he goes and he tries to see all the thousands and thousands and thousands of
it's hard to do as a dungeon master, and it takes experience.
And that's all it is. Yeah.
And it takes repetitive muscle memory, like as with any job, that anyone that's listening, and anyone that starts on that first day and it's overwhelming on that first day of the job, you don't know if you're going to get it or it's going to sink in, all these things that you have to learn. And then, as a first responder that dispatches, I ran that. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but repetitively over 3 years now, I've been doing this. It's not hard. It is some days. It's very stressful a lot of days, but the job itself is no longer, doing the job is no longer stressful. It's the amount of work that comes from it.
Yeah. And kind of with what I do with in the crisis team that I'm a part of, it's been a really long time because of, like, budget constraints and everything, but that we haven't been activated, or at least I haven't been activated. And I can feel, or I know that a lot of the skills I developed are going rusty, to where if I get activated tomorrow and I have to go do an incident, I'm gonna be kind of scared.
Yeah.
Because I know I haven't done it in months. We haven't even had training in months because of budget. So I try to keep up by going over material, going over our procedure books, and reading reports of stuff that we've done last, but it's not the same. You gotta get your hands in there.
I'm trying to think where I know a more recent example with me of, like, an example where we've let failure kind of reshape what we're doing at the table. I know in the previous session, I got in a very I stayed in character and I kept in that mindset of exploring that back room. Because in my mind, this dude's a mad scientist, and I do not know the extent. We've seen the surface of what he's done.
Yeah.
But this is the surface.
Mm-hmm.
What's in his lab? What is he secretly possibly working on? Is he, in quotations, a 1940s, 30s German scientist? Because I don't.
Yeah, or are you going to go back into a secret lab and you're going to find brains in jars? And
Is he doing genetic experimentation for our Magic the Gathering people? Is he basically a simic scientist?
Oh, okay.
Except a little bit more real world with it that I was thinking. And he got a little bit uppity that I was invading his privacy, which is a valid response to what I was doing. And then I even in character said, it's like, listen, with what I've seen, I feel obligated as a knight of my guild to check in there.
Yeah.
It's in my mind brain of being chaotic good or neutral good. I need to check in there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it ended up costing the group I found out afterwards the quest loot. But even after I got told by Tove or Ronnie that he cost us the loot, I kind of shrugged. I'm like, I don't need to say the classic example. I did what my character would do.
Yeah, you stayed in character and you acted that in a way that made sense for your character. Yeah. Yes, I hate the phrase "it's what my character would do" because there's a lot of negative connotations to that.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I'm gonna have to do what my character would do. Otherwise, why am I even playing this character?
Yeah.
So no, you acted very in character,
but
which is why I had fun.
Yeah.
I had fun being that guy of just. No, he's actually he's on the up and up. He's on the level. And he's just, I would like my private property to stay that private. Why are you doing this? But Chase or Malachim also did a really good idea of letting the guy pretty much just lore dump. You would just, I'm doing these experiments, and this guy was really excited about these experiments, and I get to talk to somebody about it, And so he said, I just let him go. Because that's sometimes the best thing to do when someone is going off the rails about something. Sometimes you just gotta let them burn it out. So that's kind of like when one of the crisis things that I went in, we got trained in is if the person's talking, they're not hurting themselves, they're not hurting you, they're not hurting someone else. If they're screaming at you, angry, that's fine.
You did that last campaign. I can't remember which villain it was. You just let them monologue.
Let them go. Yeah, just like what was it in?
It was Surtur.
It was Surtur. Yeah,
yeah. He was making a deal, and then
it was like, and
here's my offer and all that, and then he just kind of nodded, and then he continued monologuing, and he waited for you to retort, and you kind of gave like a 2 or 3 word answer, and he kept monologuing, and he almost kind of countered some of his own offers and tried to make better deals, and
I was like, he's talking himself into this. I'm just gonna let it go. So it is kind of like that from The Incredibles. Was it Syndrome? You caught me monologuing. Kind of one of those situations.
This episode's been brought to you by. So every GM here starts small from the experts when building a campaign, right? A tavern, a village, a few NPCs. But what if your players want something more without feeling overwhelmed? That's where Centurion 3D steps in. Their set brings over 30 build-out options, infinite ways to grow your world, infinite ways to grow your table. Centurion 3D Studios is for game masters who want to stay small but go big for their players. Alright, fellow hermits, Heimdall has just dropped their new dice line, and they come in a unique LED display box that makes them look like they're pulled straight out of a mythical ancient Viking vault. And the dice themselves, they're runic. Full Thark-inspired font on the faces, but the wild part is they've got this iridescent finish that literally changes when the light hits them. It's like your dice are actually filled with magic. If you want to show off the dice in a totally new way, grab one of these 5 sets, if not all of them. They're something out of the 9 realms themselves. One of the questions I had written down is like, have you ever had everything right or go right as a player and then the dice just flattened you? And I can think of like numerous times off the top of my head. I can't recall like specific examples though as well. There's plenty of times with Merrick. I know that there's I've ran into times with that. I mean, just playing Ephraim now, but at the same time, I've played for so long that I'm just like kind of shrugging my, okay, he doesn't get to do it.
This isn't, a big grandiose thing, but it sticks to my mind, in my mind. It was my first instance of running into what would become the running joke of me playing games. Is my very, very first campaign, all the way back in the early 2000s. I was playing a human ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the story, my DM did a really good job of letting people interact with NPCs and all that good stuff. My character had a budding relationship with fantasy trope with the barmaid. Well, she and a couple of other townsfolk in the middle of a raid got kidnapped. And so we were sent by the king. Anyway, we were sent by a person in charge to go save these people. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. We were moving through the dungeon. We were fighting through the dungeon. We were killing monsters and we were doing whatever. Well, we found the big chamber that all these people were being held in. And so my character was thinking, okay, we need to start saving people. Let's start opening cells. We need to start getting people out of here. And we went through 2 or 3 of finding people. I'm like, okay, you need to go down this tunnel. Everything is dead. Mind the blood, but everything is dead. When you hit daylight, just go to town. Go. Well, one of the other players just goes, huh. And he, calls my character by name. I was like, I kind of figured you'd be looking for the barmaid. And I'm like, well, I mean, if she's here, she's going to be with all of this. But okay, all right, fine. You know what? You're right. I'm going to go find... You're 100% correct. I'm going to go find the barmaid. And so I told my dungeon master, Clint, my character is going to go find the barmaid. And he goes, okay, cool. Roll a search check. And fail. Okay, well, nope. And so everyone else is running around opening cells and saving people, and I'm running around trying to find this barmaid, and every time it gets back to me, roll a search check, fail, roll a search check, fail. I failed 4 search checks in a row. And like, what the heck? And so I'm kind of debating as a player, is she not here, or am I just failing? Mm-hmm. I didn't really know. Well, then the person was like, hey, I figured you'd be looking for the barmaid. He goes, you know what? I'm going to go find the barmaid. Okay, roll a search check. 23. Yeah, you go like 3 cells down. There she is. And so this person opens the cell and has the big heroic moment of, hey, I'm saving you. And it's like, you son of a... So, I mean, is it big and big impactful for the story? No, but it was kind of one of those like moments for your character. Yeah. To where you stole my thunder and it wasn't that player's fault. It was the dice. Yeah. I had 4 tries to do it.
Which, I mean, yeah. It's the dice at the time, and maybe, I mean, the DM could have been a little kinder and all that.
He could have.
Don't hand your moment to someone else. But at the same time, you'd failed 4 times in a row.
I failed 4 times.
It's a gray zone.
Yeah, it is. And as far as story is concerned, he could have been like, yeah, it takes you a little bit and, you found her. Yeah. Because that's player agency. You didn't roll, oh, it's what you want to do. It's going to take a minute, but yes, you will find her. Now, everybody else is saving more people because they're just opening doors and letting people out. I'm looking for one specific door. So it will be significantly impactful for my character at that moment. So, yeah, maybe just let it happen. But you called for a dice roll? You called for a dice roll.
Exactly.
Okay. It happens. The dice just went, you're like, you know what? No, you're not going to find her. You jerks.
No. And I mean, that's happened so much to me over the 17 years I've played. Yeah. And that's the problem is I can't think of like specific examples because I'm just the type of guy who's like, oh, don't go my way. Shrug.
Oh, whoever else.
Yeah.
We were playing, back with my original DM, we were playing Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah.
I was playing this was really cool. I like how they did this in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. You rolled for everything. You rolled for what your species was. You rolled for what your class was.
That's an old 1E thing too.
Yeah, it was all random. And so I got Gnome Librarian. I'm dead. There is no way I'm going to make it through this game alive.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, man, that little gnome, he was awesome. So the crew, we got together and we went to go to this Lord's Manor, and my DM did a really good job of concocting a reason for my character to be there.
Yeah.
Because not real adventurer type material here. A gnome librarian? And so I was thinking, okay, the librarian's going to go, and I was going to try to get him to go towards the, like a cleric route.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he concocted the idea that this noble that we were going to go check had, their librarian or their, seneschal or whatever had recently died.
Yeah.
And so he got awarded new territory for, part of a campaign. And so he was moving into this grander castle, which I don't know if people do that, but hey, reasons.
Usually they just add on wings.
And they just be like, no, I'm living here. This is my new capital. This is the new capital. I ain't moving. You come to me. You bring the mountain to me. But anyway. And well, he was redoing his library. And so he needed a new librarian. And my character was hired to be his new librarian. That's why I was there.
Yeah.
And Clint did a really good job of kind of like role-playing that mundane start of the mystery that would become what we did, to where every day, at the end of the day, I had to do an intelligence check. And if I failed, it's because he role played it like my character didn't know the newest imperial organization techniques or whatever. And if I succeeded, then the noble was happy. Come to find out that the noble was a vampire, and I failed 3 intelligence checks in a row. So I was just slaughtering this organization. You've got Bugman's Guide of Brewery and Meads next to Strong Arm's Arsenal of, whatever. Like, these 2 books don't even go together. Where did you get your education from?
It's my own Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah, exactly. And I tried to role play it off of, I'm just pulling books out of boxes to see what you have before, because I could put a whole bunch of these books on one shelf to find out that that's all you have. But maybe you've got a whole bunch of these over here, and it didn't work. He ended up ripping my character's finger off and like sucking the blood out of it. As you did what? He's a vampire. We're screwed. And half of us ended up dying. And however, my character did not.
Oh,
my character survived. The Kithband warrior, he got murked second.
dang.
Yeah, he got destroyed. My character though made it. He snuck up on a guy and slit his throat with a carving knife, and then using a sling, I rolled a critical hit and I killed a guy on horseback, and it knocked him off the horse.
That's a horror movie trope as well. The unexpected dude lives.
Yeah, exactly. So it was one of those situations to where we failed the story forward.
Yeah.
By failing, it revealed plot points.
But it did, like, the roll didn't kill momentum either.
No, it did not.
And in those moments, I think it's a debate whether the table should protect the scene or let the dice win, or I'm not quite sure.
And it's kind of one of those things.
I think it should be a moment that's felt out.
Yeah, it should, because would I be sitting here 20 years later talking to you about this scene if I had passed my 3 intelligence checks and I organized the library correctly? Probably not.
No. Hopefully, Clint would have figured out something else to reveal.
I'm sure, Clint. If you ever hear any of this, dude, hats off to you. You're a real one.
If a roll though like nukes the pacing or the mood, should the dice still be treated as like the actual roll be treated as sacred, or I will admit there's times where I've fudged rolls to keep the story going. I've never fudged a combat, or at least I've never. I've fudged checks and all that to where, oh, they didn't find this out to kind of, because that's like Vicky was trying to do something, and if she hadn't succeeded, I feel that it would have impeded her kind of blossoming as a new player, and she's getting that new confidence modes.
That's important. Yeah, that's a tough one. Because my gut says that once that die gets thrown, you pretty much got to honor it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing that came before or that comes after will be taken as serious.
No, especially if the players figure it out.
Yeah, especially if they know that you just, ooh, no, we're not going to do that. Well, so then why are we rolling dice at all then?
I know our table has a number of like fate or fudge dice, and most of us are older school gamers, and even though, a couple of them are less than a decade of experience, and some of us have played over 2 decades, but at the same time we all respect the dice rolls.
Yes.
And if the dice say this happens, when it comes down to this could happen or this could happen, and the dice say it's this way, we drop it, we let it go.
Yeah, for better or worse, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's like, and I used to do that at work, even in real life. As a tabletop gamer, as a supervisor, I'd have 2 people, and I'd have a D6 on, or a normal dice, I guess, or a D6 on.
A D6, yeah.
And I'd have 2 people arguing about the area that they wanted to do, because I was a housekeeping supervisor at the time.
Yeah, the hospital, yeah.
Yeah. And, all right, roll off. Since you guys can't decide, whoever rolls highest gets what they want. And they honored it. They accepted it. They'd argue later if only the dice had gone their way, but they weren't fighting among each other.
They weren't fighting each other. They were mad at the dice.
They were mad at the dice.
They were mad at chance.
Yeah.
Which sometimes preserves that cohesiveness, that unit.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent.
And that was before we get on, that was the caveat when I brought up to him. It's like, if you guys roll this, will you honor the result?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes.
Okay.
All right. Because I go, this is technically an unbiased third party making the decision.
Harvey Dent, pure chance.
All right, roll off. There you go.
Chance doesn't care. It's neither.
And
good
they knew
nor
I was a
evil.
giant gamer, and I go, we will respect whatever. You guys can bitch as much as you want, but this is the way it happens. And I've had that happen sometimes at the table as well. We all honor the dice here.
Yep.
Roll off.
Yeah. So yeah, So that's why I'm kind of like dice and player agency is, but I'm more of a stickler to that kind of a rule, to where if I don't want the dice to say something bad happen, I generally will try not to roll dice.
Yeah.
Because once you throw the die, you say make this save, make this check, make this attack, and you throw that die, you're kind of stuck with what you're doing.
No, and the thing I've done, especially, and I think it used to really irritate our former group that we were a part of, is like when our Draconic Sorceress in the first campaign was making that big grandiose speech, and I'm like, make a persuasion or just a charisma check. And then one of the players that we both know, because she rolled average. She didn't roll great. She didn't roll horrible. Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, what's the point of her rolling if there's not a failure there? It wasn't so much to see if she failed or passed. It was to see how the degree of she was always going to succeed, because she's a 20 charisma character. Mm-hmm. Someone was going to listen.
Yeah.
But how many besides that one person?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things to where if you succeed, how many people would rally to your cause? Oh, it's 10d10 plus 100. It could be 102. Yeah. Or it could be 200. Yeah. You don't know. No. So it's just how
you get that medium check, half this crowd's behind you.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other ones are just, and
other ones are on the fence, or hey, I got no dog in this race, I'm out.
No, and that's real life. Of like, some people, it's like, listen, I know this is the right thing, but I don't want to be part of this fight.
Yeah, I ain't gonna risk it. Yeah. I could die.
I have too. It's like I have a family. I have too much to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
There's lots of real world examples of that right now.
And and
not to get into real world stuff, but there's lots of that right now.
Yeah, and that kind of thinking is valid.
Yeah,
like I don't have
I don't agree with all these points of views, but who does?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of getting off on this another tangent. Good Lord. And that's what I want a lot of people to understand is that we can have all of these disagreements when at the end of the day, you still make that conscious choice of, you know what, this is another human being. I will respect them. They deserve that respect.
I remember one of the biggest tidbits of wisdom my grandmother ever taught me, and I've passed this wisdom on to other people, because she was a Catholic and she was a Eucharistic minister, and people would come to her for advice and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Back when I was Catholic, before I am no
before
longer.
You branched out.
Yeah, before I am not part of that religion anymore. We won't get into it though. But I asked her, all these people come to you and ask for advice, but most of them don't, like, they heed your advice, but they don't listen to you. And she says, most people that come to you or ask for advice or anything like that, they already have their decision made up. They either need that comfort or need that other point of view to see if what they've already decided is happening.
Yeah. Even when people are truly, like, if they think they're torn, subconsciously they are leaning towards one. And
they know what they have to do.
They know what they have to do, but they don't know if they want to do it or if they're still concerned about consequences. And it's the consequences that are holding them back. And sometimes people just gotta say, look, yeah, it's gonna suck, but you gotta do it. And they go, yeah, all right. And then they go do it.
And there's plenty of things in D&D where, there's things that you gotta do as a hero.
Yeah,
I felt as a knight, I had to go into that back room and I have to make sure that you are basically
that was
not a 1940s German scientist.
Yeah, that was a beautiful scene. That was an amazing scene. I could see that being either it could be like a Hogan's Heroes moment where it's funny, to where you've got the one guy that's trying to sneak into the lab.
Yeah.
Or in the dark room, and they're like, keep going. And then the other guy's just like, and so they're distracting the guard, and then they sneak in and do their thing, and then you get the canned laughter of stuff like that. Or it could be a really, like, scary moment to where you have to go do this and you don't know what you're gonna find, and you're fully expecting to find, brains and jars.
Yeah, and that's what I was fully expecting, is like to walk in there. Crap, I'm gonna have to take care of him.
Yeah, there's gonna be flags and paintings, and you just go, oh, what do we find?
And then there was tapestries, and I was
yeah,
is there anything really taboo on here that to my point of view, because my character's point of view?
Yeah.
And no, it's just historical actual.
It was ancient history, because he had been essentially cryogenically frozen or suspended animation.
Cryogenically petrified in stone.
Yeah, because he intentionally cast flesh to stone on himself, essentially, so that he could hopefully survive this cataclysm that was going on, and then someone would find him and unpetrify him, and it actually kind of worked out. If you guys hadn't come along, then he probably would have stayed there until the cavern collapsed and he died.
A little bit of a spicy question as well. And if anyone wants to answer this, and it's not me putting down anyone, do you feel that it's poor sandbox world building design if you let the dice stall you? If you are still planning on doing this, but the dice stall you is that being a bad game master? Of like, I wanted to do this, but the dice stopped me. As a good DM, in my opinion, and it's kind of a little bit of a controversial opinion and maybe a little bit of a hot take, I feel even as a good DM, you can still get to your goal. You're just going to have to take a different road to get there instead of the one you had in your mind.
You and I have gamed together for the better part of a decade now. Like,
Yeah.
To where I've seen you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good idea. So I'm kind of with the same mindset. So no, I don't think it's
To the point where, like, even in that campaign, I gave you the end quest goal and I gave you the starting point. I knew better than to actually try and plot out where you guys were going to go.
yes, true.
From experience,
Yeah.
I knew better than to plot out every leg of the trip because I know you guys aren't going to go where I think you will.
Yeah,
And
exactly,
I think,
exactly, because that's that player agency.
and
part
maybe
of
it's
it.
not. I don't say it's bad game mastering. If you do, it's not bad. In my opinion, it's a naive game master. It's an inexperienced game master that does all that plotting out because they think the players are going to do exactly what they think.
They're wanting to be prepared for their session and for what's coming down the road, and so they almost over prepare.
Yeah. And then they sometimes get frustrated because the players don't do what they want.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the game.
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with over preparing. The problem is when you are so stuck into it that you're not willing to change. Yeah, when you get so stuck on it that you're not willing to adapt or change or react to the players at all, that's when that's poor sandboxing. Because now you're getting towards railroading. And not saying that railroading's bad.
No.
Because sometimes you need to do it to get through stuff. But you still need to let the players and the dice have their moment, because if you're not going to listen to what the dice say, don't roll it. So no, I don't. If the dice stall you, the dice stall you.
Yeah.
Whether it be something as minor as your characters fail their survival check and they get lost for a day, or if they fail they fail so many charisma saves or common sense checks or whatever, or chaotic stupid
Moments.
alignments, whatever, and it just gets to this point. That's just how it is. You ain't gonna make it to that kingdom anytime soon because you're running from the King's Guard because you pissed them off for some reason.
You ain't getting over the mountain. You're gonna have to go through the mines.
You've got to go through Moria. Yeah, because that's the choice that was made. So yeah, it may throw a kink in your plans. It may derail what you had planned, but that, in my opinion, that's where your preparation comes in. You're the DM. You know where you're going. You're just going to get there a session or two later, so they have to go through a mine. Cool, big deal. They get to fight cool cave trolls now.
Hey, tabletop gamers. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. We come out with new episodes every Wednesday. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends as we continue to level up and grow.